And a very welcome to the Aquarian.tv, home of the Aquarian conscious community. Let us go into the 8 holidays of the Aquarian. First of all, this is fun. Shout out to being forward, progressive thinking and acting. Aquarian attributes. And coming up with our high holy days isn't so difficult because our ancestral traditions have also come to this conclusion that there's certain days out of the year that mark the beginning of a season or the very middle point of a season. The 4 cardinal points plus the 4 fixed middle points are what make up the 8-pointed star. Now, what we are doing is we are taking the Catholic, mostly Christian sign of the cross that people do to open themselves up into prayer, to bless something. The sign of the star is to do similar things. We believe that through intention, the focus of energy, practice, that manifestation comes about more readily when we line it up with the seasons. If you're going to want to grow a grape, you're going to want to do it with the seasons. So the solar calendar, which starts in spring, ends in winter. Then we have the lunar calendar, and many religious traditions have a solar lunar calendar. And we see how those things affect us materially, and then perhaps spiritually, consciously, collectively. So we sync up with that, synchronistic, that we might bear the best fruit. There are 4 cardinal points of the year and 4 midpoints of the year. The cardinal points start each season and signal the solstices and equinoxes. These are the first days of spring, summer, fall, winter. The beginning of Cancer season is the start of summer. The beginning of Aries, spring. Cancer, summer. Libra, fall. Capricorn, winter. There's the cardinal cross. And then we go to the fixed sign cross. And a good way to remember it is through the acronym SALT. Because you will find that SALT acronym for fixed signs in the zodiac, my friend. Be the salt of the earth. The zodiac and the salts of salvation. That's it. Interesting. I have to give a shout out to Santos Bonacci for featuring that. In astrology, we have the fixed signs. Salt, Scorpio, the middle of fall. Aries. I'm sorry. Aquarius. So you just have to remember that. That's not Aries. But rather Aquarius, our namesake that we're moving into. There's the 8-point star right there. Also a symbol of the goddess Isis or Ishtar, Venus. Those goddess symbols get intertwined often. The brightest planet, Venus, and the brightest star in the night sky, Sirius. And then they get intermixed with a 5-pointed star. And we will get to that. Settle down. So we have Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo, the middle of summer. Taurus, the middle of spring. Salt. And I owe this guy, Marty Leeds, who pointed that out on a video, who has a Gnostic church. And he still pushes for a literal historical Jesus figure. I don't know if that's just to keep followers or if he genuinely just can't let go of the historical, critical method of approach and analysis of the Christian Hebrew scriptures, that those characters are fictional. And if they were actually in existence, they were just used as for story filling, to have a scene such as King Herod. There was a King Herod. There was a Caesar. Just because there was a Caesar doesn't mean that Marty Leeds also goes through the book of Mark. Look up Marty Leeds, Leeds, book of Mark, and he breaks down how it's the whole freaking story is astrological in nature. And also beautiful about how it's, which he didn't really get into, but he was pointing at it, and he gets to it somewhat. But the moon, it's traversing, makes a serpentine-like figure together with the sun and its path through its sine wave that it makes around the Earth from the Earth's position. we're on planet Earth. And so the sun is a masculine snake on the caduceus, the moon, the feminine, the Ida, the Pinga, and then the middle, the Shushuma, the pole. South pole in our root, North pole at the top. The 8-pointed star is also a symbol for the pole star, where we are heading to, and firmly grounded in our root, South pole, straightening out the serpent on the staff, raising up the serpent as Moses did in the wilderness, as Jesus did in Golgotha, the place of the skull, who is ruled by Aries. So Aries, when we make, and we go to Aries to Libra, you could switch around the solstices, and you're linking yourself up with the laws of nature. Those are high gods. In Egypt, she is the goddess Ma'at, who goes to Libra, the scales of justice, of balance, of harmony, of equilibrium, of the equinoxes. In Judaism, they start their clerical new year at the fall equinox, the civil year on the spring equinox. So they celebrate actually when the rest of the world would be celebrating the new year in spring. The first day of spring, like March 17th, your St. Patrick's Day. There's always holidays on the middle of fall. Halloween, Samhain. So the 8-pointed star is, or cross, or wheel, is something we find in other traditions. And why celebrate? Why have holidays? Every day is a holy day. Because there's certain energies that are more abound at certain times of year. They teach us something. In ancient times, or even today, preparing for winter. So that has certain things that collectively everybody's doing on a whole to prepare for the winter in the northern hemisphere. On the collective conscious level, that there's energy there. It's lining ourselves up with Earth. We don't look at Earth as something that needs to be subdued and raped. We look at it as something to be cherished, that recollecting that our bodies come from it. But also, very well, there are things inherent in the human condition that cannot be measured, such as our dignity as a human, our very inherent value as more than just a number. The Aquarian stands up for that. So, first of all, this 8-pointed sign of the cross goes just like that. We're accustomed to going to the top first, so we're rising up to the top. We're recollecting the heights, the top of the head, the mind, the crown, the sun. Go down to also the sign, either Capricorn or Cancer. Depends how you want to set it up. I recommend you set up with the Cardinal cross. Now that starts off a year. So what do you want to start? Something new. I'm starting a new dialogue with my higher self. I don't like the word prayer, making someone pray. And it's got the supplication thing, like you have to beg to God. The more you beg, the more likely something is to happen. No, what we are doing is recognizing the power of intention, of focus, of energy. And the more collectively we do it, and more it is charged with emotion, the element of water, the more this is to come into existence. Not praying for the coming of Christ in the clouds. It has to be in line with reality. All these religions praying for freaking, you know what has to happen before Christ? The rapture, Armageddon. Using the apocalypse as a horrible thing. Whereas the literal meaning of it is April opens up spring, Cyclops, the eye is the Cyclops. Apocalypse. Apotheosis. Waking up to our God nature. It's the whole message of Christianity that is God becoming man. There's a mural at the top of the dome on Capitol Hill, Capricorn on top of the hill, that has the apotheosis of George Washington becoming a god, which goes in the tradition of deifying a founding member, a founding figure of your nation. At least George Washington existed in some measure. The whole thing about chopping down the cherry tree, there was dark occult Freemasonic symbolism behind it. They say our country, some try to say it was built on Judeo-Christian values, which if you go to find values in the Bible, you're going to come away with some really effed up values, thinking that somehow there's one people or nation that God loves more than others. That we have a supremate God who calls for genocide of other nations that aren't of that ilk. Or Christians that, oh, no, we're now adopted, grafted on to that. Because those people, Jesus' people, rejected him. Adopting a foreign narrative nation story as your own, and then no wonder why it's been used to crush many a nation. My poor country, homeland of Ireland. St. Patrick came in there, ran out the snakes, ran out the serpentine knowledge of energy, of life. St. Patrick's Day should be celebrated as the middle point of spring. Taurus season. Venus is celebrated. The moon exalted the goddess. Venus's color is green. So wear green during St. Patrick's Day, but don't push any. St. Patrick was a total, I think pretty much mostly a fictional character, maybe a little bit real, and an operative for the Roman Catholic Church through the British Empire. And Ireland was constantly getting conquered by other people, but also I got kicked off of my land, my ancestors, not even 2,000 years or even longer. Just that Irish got kicked off of their land just a couple hundred years ago. We got their potato crops freaking poisoned by these same British agents who gave us their religion and who burned our druid priests and burnt our sacred holy texts, wiping out the remembrance of frickin' Esau and Edom, commanded by God. We are breaking out of the effery of the Bible. We are reformating Western religion to reflect such awakenings, an apocalypse event. We're tearing down these false narratives that have been used against us. And then we'll see what the church looks like after it finds out that there is no historical Jesus and that it was created to subvert and subdue the foreign nations, to theologically conquer them. There are things that we could salvage from the church, for much of it has been taken from pagan, heathen, our ancestrals. We have these Christians using the word pagan and heathen as a derogatory term, insulting their ancestors. Getting theologically conquered by a foreign God who actually hates them. Listen to how Yahweh and even Jesus talks about the Gentiles who aren't even worthy to get the scraps underneath the table compared to dogs. We're breaking out of the superiority effery that is instilled throughout the Bible. And we're coming up with new, beautiful ways to do religion, spirituality, organizing, community. Organized religion is horrible. That's like saying government's horrible. So there's no way to govern us better. Some say that man is homo religioso. That means religious by nature. Looking to commemorate things, make meaning out of them, come together in community with shared purpose. An institute that encourages morals and ethics and education and compassion and mercy to their fellow man, not out of some guilt complex, not out of looking for a reward to go to heaven, but for humanity's sake. That's what the Aquarian is. For humanity's freaking sake. Well, the sign of the star. Here we have it in chaos magic. There's a chaos magic symbol, which is actually pretty lit. You know, Aleister Crowley is a total scumbag piece of crap, pervert, fuck. Knew the occult. You can know the internet and do beautiful things with it, which is what the Aquarian's doing with this esoteric knowledge, or you use the internet to do some fucked up shit with it, which is fucking what Aleister fuckboy Crowley did. Now they use sex magic, which is bringing the negative and the positive together, the thesis and the antithesis together in a synthesis. The mother and the father together for the sacred child. But chaos. From Greek, chaos meaning open. From German, Gier, G-H-E-I, G, which means agape, like open. Agape, like a yawn. But chaos is often likened to as, which is Platonism and Neoplatonism, and then in the Bible, how there was darkness, likening the darkness to chaos, like how our ancestors, when they went to bed at night, it was scary shit. They might get eaten by a freaking wolf or something. And then light brings order. You can see in the day. The dark is likened to the feminine, as is the earth. The light to the masculine. So when we equate darkness with evil, we need to stop doing that. But these words have put us in such BS. Anyways, it was adopted in role-playing games such as Warhammer and Dungeons and Dragons. It's an 8-pointed freaking star. Chaos star. This guy, Murdoch. The symbol of chaos originates from Michael Moorcock. Probably it. Aleister Crowley, obsessed with sex, name Moorcock that he made up. Eternal Champion, a fantasy novel published in 1970. And its dichotomy of law and chaos, In them, the symbol of chaos compromises 8 arrows in a radial pattern. In contrast, the symbol of law. Law, Aleister Crowley talks about a lot. Liber. The law is will. It's important, as is the concept of will, which is in esoteric stuff. The law is a single upright arrow. It is also called the arm of chaos, the arrows of chaos, blah, blah, blah. The star of discord. The chaos sphere, when depicted as a three-dimensional sphere. So, that'd just be an octagon, right? An octahedron? Let's see what the chaos sphere looks like. It sounds kind of lit. Welcome to the chaos sphere. Darkness, the feminine, likened to the void, to Da'at, the sphere that isn't a sphere in Kabbalah, which would be the 11th one. So it's likened to the feminine, which is why they kill the feminine, sacrifice the feminine, doing their consecrations of care rituals. Oh, that's pretty freaking magical. So there's a death metal band called Meshuggah. Ooh, Chaos Sphere recordings. Welcome to the Chaos Sphere. I smoke way too many cigarettes to be able to be. Oh, it's a lit freaking. Okay, let's get back on track, Lily. Welcome to the Chaos Sphere, the Chaos Sphere, the Chaos Sphere. Star of Discord. Yeah. Well, the number of traditional symbols, it comes from the geometrical pattern as the symbol of chaos, the 8-pointed star, the octagram. That is tight looking. The octagon is in the middle. The 8 is the feminine. And they have the 8 as being the octagon, a stop sign, red, like a bad thing. Stop there. Don't stop there. Go into the octagon. Die. We're not a death cult, but there is something about dying and being born again. Dying to your lower nature, being born into your higher nature. The star of Ishtar is the star of the goddess of Venus, and the star of Inanna. Ishtar is mostly associated with the planet Venus. The gods and the goddesses are the planets. We should be handing out flyers in churches, on colleges, campuses to get us out of this effery that is the Abrahamic faith, because it's hurting us. Raising up the goddess and our ancestral gods and goddesses, archetypical figures that we collectively poured energy into consciously, and unleashing our heavenly help to battle the forces of Yahweh. We collectively say, no way to Yahweh. Here, Aleister Crowley in his Thoth Tarot deck. Just because fuckboy Crowley knows about the tarot doesn't make it evil. Imagery, symbolism that speaks to us on a collective level. Crowley described the card. He put it in the wands, which is the element of fire. Fire. Our ancestors have long venerated fire. One of the four elements. The fixed sign being the four elements. And, yeah. Fire, earth, air, water. With the pentagram, they create the 5-pointed star. Which, if you want to sign yourself with a 5-pointed cross, a star, that's cool too. Whatever is getting us out of the Christian, Judaic, Abrahamic faiths. I take it easy on Islam because we've been successfully Islamophobicized. He describes the card as representing energy, quote, scattering at, quote, high velocity that had managed to create the depicted 8-pointed figure. Here's how the dude says he created it, which you fucking create it. It's the star, it's the wheel of freaking in Buddhism, symbolizing the eightfold path. The Dharma chakra. Widespread symbol. Because they put this shit together. We're not reinventing the wheel. Literally. We're not reinventing. Centered. We're not reinventing the freaking Dharma chakra wheel over here. See, it was in Hinduism before Buddhism, which sprang out of Hinduism. Alright, whatever. Fuck this guy, Moorcock. According to Anton Chekhostovov, Alexander Dugin, whose daughter just got killed, he used it as a symbol to represent the idea of Neo-Eurasianism. Eurasianism it's really trying to, it's not good for many reasons. But it has some things that, I mean, for bringing back your ancestral stuff that's been totally blotted out, or which is actively being blotted out. It's the cover of his book, Foundations of Geopolitics. Oh, shit. It has significant influence on foreign policy elites. Okay, red flag. So, damn it. Polish street punk bang. Why am I can't speaking? Polish street punk band, the Analogs, used symbol of chaos for their logo. Oi, yes. We should listen to that. My other side of my family is from Poland. Nowadays, the Chaos Star in its original form has been adopted by multiple Eastern European and North and Latin American activists. I hope that's not the Antifa, but post-left anarchy. That sounds pretty lit. Anti-globalization. Peace. Squatter movement. That's lame. Student protest movements. That's cool. Insurrectionary anarchism. That's cool, unless it's as lame as the January 6th insurrection, which was totally led by a bunch of feds, and I can't even talk about it that much. Nihilist anarchism. Anarchism, nihilism. Nihilism is kind of depressing and pretty much it goes to an unhealthy place. But anarchism in general, Moorcock identifies as one. I'm so immature I can't say Moorcock. He identifies as an anarchist. Anarchist means Anna against. Arcs against hierarchical structures. Yeah, well, that's what the frick Aquarianism is. And just because we're against a hierarchical system doesn't mean that it relates to chaos. Go to the dark. You've adopted the dark. I was born in it. There's other guys. Meshuggah. That's the name of their band. And they used the Chaos Sphere for their... pretty cool. The Celtic Wheel. Yeah, baby. There it is. Votive wheel, it's called Ruels. Oh, where we get the roulette from. Historic Celtic polytheism. For some reason, people think that monotheism is better than polytheism. Shut the fuck up. Look what your monotheism has fucking done. Intellectual, superior morons. Wasting their whole lives trying to explain how God is 3 in 1. Their Trinity babble. Shut the fuck up. And those they get professorships. There's a half wheel shown in the Gundenstrup cauldron, which is like the oldest Celtic thing. It's freaking lit. Yeah. Neo-paganism? Yeah, fuck it. Why not? I like that better than New Age. We take on the term heathens. Whatever the Bible uses as a derogatory term for somebody else, like a Amalekite, a Babylonian. See, Aleister Crowley got into that little, like, adopting Babylon and that being a shit. And even Satanism, that's what it does. But even Satanism is still giving too much credence to the Bible. If it wasn't for that and the Hebrew scriptures, the Torah, we wouldn't have the fucking devil. Maybe we wouldn't have the devil to blame. The devil has a lot less body count than fucking the God of the Bible does. Oh shit. If that's the God that's in fucking heaven, then that's not where I want to go. Jiminy Cricket. Cursing. Aquarian is all about it. Yeah, it's Germanic. You know, they've tried to say that all our ancestral stuff, symbols, is anti You know, you can't even say the word in a video. Symbols. Anti-Defamation League. Hate symbols. You call them hate symbols even. I mean, who's the ADL? Hate on display. TM, they trademarked that. Because I was gonna create a heavy death metal song. I was gonna collab with the Polish punk rock band Magaloff and come up with a song called "Hate on Display." Trademark ADL. Show us some general hate symbols, please. 14, the number 14. Fuck. Ah, shit. There's certain numbers. Oh my God. Either by itself or with other numeric, especially 88, which stands for Hail Hitler. 88 is Donald Trump. Go look up Donnie Darko on No More News. Did an interview and he talked about the symbolism with Donald Trump. 88 imagery. Text 88022. There's 22 cards in the tarot, and 22 is either the zero. There's the zero, and there's the 22. Is the zero card's a fool, or it's 22. It's not numbered. And 88. Mercury, the trickster, takes 88 days to go in its rotation to make one full rotation. Now you learn his symbolism. And they're a bunch of fucking chaos magicians where they create the chaos and then invite in their order. They create chaos. They create a problem. They put out the thesis. And then they put out antithesis and they come up with their synthesis, which is the Hegelian dialect. Controlling the opposition. What's the best way to conquer your opposition? To lead it. To run it into the ground. Gia from chaos means gaping wide open. Vast and empty. A beautiful, fertile, blank canvas full of infinite potentiality is darkness. We marry the light and the dark. Oh, okay. Next time we come back. So that's the sign of the 8-pointed star. You can make the cross, and then you make an X over the cross, Xing us out of that curse. Next, we'll talk about the sacrament of submersion of water, where we wash away the blood magic ritual of the atonement, scapegoat sacrifice, or lamb sacrifice. Washing away that. And I'll do a whole video about the sacrament of the Aquarian, using water or any liquid. And I've already established that in services in person. But that's a thing. What, replacing this blood dark sacrifice, cannibalistic human sacrifice of the Eucharist. Sorry. Stepping out of that body. And stepping into the celestial human body of the water-bearer Aquarian. So it is. So mote it be. Fuck Masonry. Any secret society. Fuck sororities and fraternities. We are totally transparent. Sorry. Fuck order following. Fuck the idea of having landlords and masters. We don't plead to God, Lord, Master. Because that just primes us to get some politician or leader put in that place because we've already been programmed as such. Well, we're turning that channel off. Sending that to the dark abyss of no thingness that it might not manifest overarching us. Breaking out of this box. Creating our own beautiful system. Aquarius makes systems, brings structure to chaos. That's what Aquarius does. It's the 7 that rests on the 6. On the 7th day of creation, God rests. It's centered in the middle, still. In the cube, we have 6 points. In the middle is the 7th point. Salt is a symbol of the cube as well. As the fixed signs are a symbol of the cube. The black cube is the divine feminine, the temple of God. The perfected ashlar stone. Using sacred geometry, the knowledge of numerology, numbers are gods. Each planet is allocated to one. The planets are gods. The directions are gods. Ye are gods, because you have all this shit in you. So let us structure ourselves in accordance with the system that we want to see made manifest without ourselves, outside of ourselves. Oh, my. Chaos opposes cosmos, the ordered universe. Sometimes it was personified as a god, begetter of Erebus and Nyx. My cat's name is Nyx. She's a black cat. Nyx is the goddess of night. Meaning orderless confusion in human affairs is from 1600s chaos theory. Is from 1600. See, they wanted us to think that without them being our rulers, that things would be just chaotic. I don't have Big Daddy government telling me what to do. In God we trust. They insert themselves as that. You might as well just be saying, in our government we trust. Has anything in history told you that we can trust our fucking governments? Look how many people the government is responsible for killing their own throughout history. Look how many people have died over the Bible throughout fucking history. Through religion. We're using it as a vessel to create one and then explode. That's why they build their temples and they bring them down on purpose. Because that's how they form you to become a Mason. They build you up on fake knowledge. They intentionally lie to you and mislead you. Build up this fake vessel and then bam, give you the truth, breaking that down. The antithesis. And then bringing you up in the synthesis into one World Trade Tower 7. They use these dark rituals and symbols to control us and to keep us in fear. Enjoying our slavery. Well, in the Aquarian, we come up with ways to do spirituality more informed, and it needs some organization in order to function. It needs some formation. Cue Beyonce formation song. That's the second time I've said that in a video. Alright, so the sign of The star. Next time, the sign of Aquarius. You want to get tattoos? I recommend. Oh, we'll do words the Aquarian stays away from in explaining itself or herself. Yeah, they call like the church body like a she, like liken it to a ship on the ocean. Like a bridge over troubled water. The ship Argos in heaven, which is where we're getting the story from Noah's Ark related to. Whenever Jesus like went out on the boat, I was talking about Argos. But Jason and the Argonauts. Words to stay away from. That'll be a separate video. I'm gonna start doing these more often. I still have some typos, I know, but yeah, we're doing this, baby. How exciting! Yeah, so here's the I think mostly the Celtic names of the 8 points. Yuletide carol being sung by a choir. So during Christmas time and Easter, yeah, you celebrate bunnies, Santa Claus. Don't lie to your children about that bullshit, but do teach them about the seasons and using analogies of when the light is at its least and darkness is at its greatest, but celebrating harvest, celebrating new life, celebrating the end of certain cycles, the beginning of new, constantly dying and being reborn as the snake sheds its skin, the Ouroboros. We are bringing back the snakes to Ireland, motherfucker! I'm cursing. Alright, this bug don't got in here. Get at it, shoe fly. The Aquarian.tv. The Aquarian Temple Church. Ashram. Mosque. Sorry. Fly. Enter into the other realm as a more advanced, if you so desire. Sacrificing. We don't, if somebody eats animals or grain, then give thanks to the earth for providing it, for that life, giving it up so that we might be able to have life. There's how we do sacrifice. Not cutting the throat of a chicken and twirling it over your head to trick God. Oh my God. We got to get out of this. What can you add to the Aquarian? Send me some literature that embodies Aquarianism. I will put it on my website. I've been listening to ASMR to go to sleep. I love it. Okay, y'all. I just go on forever, couldn't I? Oh, little old Lily. I told you about the studio caught on fire, so we didn't get a chance to have our ceremony on the 21st. Why do we have ceremony? Because we are sacralizing this world as all sacred and ceremony to further enhance the experience of our life, both collectively and as an individual. Let us fucking go!